a short film by Wahyu Agung Prasetyo, produced in a very unique style with cultural components that remain visible throughout the film. I will divide this podcast into three sections: acquaintanceship, cinematography, and characters.
Jenengan ki kok yo, mbok yo rawatan nek ngendikan.
The first one is acquaintanceships. Tilik, a term in Javanese which means visiting. It relates the story of a group of neighborhood women who want to visit their mayoress who is receiving medical treatment in a hospital since she is unwell. So this 32 minutes film has won various awards, including the Maya Awards of Best Short Film, and it is one of the short films that passed the Special Fund Curation of the Cultural Service of the Special Region of Yogyakarta in 2018. Tilik features many excellent actors and actresses. Most of them are theater players such as Siti Fauzia, who portrayed Butejo, who became one of the main character in here, and then Briliana Desi, who played as Yutning, who is the protagonist character. So both of them play roles that form the focal point of the film. So, the film begins with a group of neighborhood women using a truckload of goods as their transportation to the hospital, which seems located in the middle of the city. This story focuses on this woman's visit to the hospital. Thus, along the route, these women were joyfully gossiping about one individual who seemed to be a concern for multiple parties. The conversation was begun by Butejo, who mentioned Dian's occupation, which was regarded as questionable. However, Yutning, who happens to be Dian's distant relative, appears to disagree with Butejo's statements and tries to defend her since for her it is not enough to accuse others based on information obtained from the internet or social media only. The film takes place on the road of one of the villages in Yogyakarta until the city. It seems that the plot occurs in the afternoon since one of the characters stated that she had not performed the Duhur prayer, for which she said that the time was 2 p.m. Right, moving on to the cinematography of the film, Tilik. The film has a professional shooting with a variety of camera movements, such as medium close-up, which is usually used to capture the actor's emotions and facial expressions while also preserving some background. For instance, in one scene, Yutning appeared disappointed and remorseful for the other women since she was too hasty in making decisions, causing their long journey from the village to the hospital to be in vain because the mayoress was in the ICU and could not be visited. The medium close-up captures Yutning's guilty face with tears streaming down from both of her eyes, and we can still see Butejo conversing with the other woman as the background.
Dadi nyebarke kabar sing roncetha kuwi klebu fitnah ora? Ya mbah ya. Bu, karep metu apa, Bu?
So not only the close-up technique, the film also employs the camera movement techniques such as the long or wide shot at the opening. This kind of camera shot shows the complete length of the object as well as a substantial portion of the film surrounding the environment. It shows a truck passing down a narrow road surrounded by many trees. The audience may conclude that they set off from a rural village that is still near to the forest. It is intended to convey the setting of the movie Tilik. Actually, there are many camera movement techniques that this film used, but I think I cannot mention all of them in this podcast because it will take hours. So I just mentioned two of them, which is I think it's still the important element of the film. I hope you enjoyed this podcast and not disappointed anyway. All right, then we will moving to the last section of this podcast, the characters. The main characters' uniqueness, Butejo and Yutning, they are the two main characters in the conversation, and they have a really dynamic interactions. Some kind of smart debate. Both of them always have a statement to contradict and keep the conversation flowing. So, to be honest, I think this film is quite clever in creating some kind of what is it? Just women talking and gossiping to feel really fascinating and enjoyable to watch. They have a very natural expression and style of speech with cultural dialects. Therefore, I think the film accurately reflects the actual situation that is happening in our community. So I think the best part or my favorite element in the film is the film brings up a lot of societal culture, such as tying toes with some form of rubber to help prevent an urination, or another cultural component that I think it is definitely noticeable here. It is not uncommon in Indonesia for commodity transportation to be transformed into transportation for people. This happens because maybe commodity transportation, such as trucks, has a large capacity and space to carry a large number of people. As in the context of the film, these women want to visit their mayors as soon as possible, but transportation that can convey a lot of people is unavailable. Therefore, the only solution at that moment was to use a truck. Hereinafter, the film's ending includes a plot twist that the audience did not expect from the beginning. Considering Butejo's caustic remarks in criticizing Dian, the audience may hope that the baseless accusations are incorrect, but you will find a point at the end that is unexpected. In the end, I think this film is really fun to watch. With a comedy genre that makes you laugh, this film is perfect to watch on the weekend with your friends or your family or maybe your partner after being tired of working or doing activities on the weekday. You'll find this film amusing and it may help to elevate your tension. Unfortunately, this is the end of my podcast, so I will say goodbye. But I hope that we meet in another episode of Films Review Podcast. I hope you enjoyed this Tilik's review, and thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.